have you ever, like, thought about what would happen if taxes in the U.S., like, actually doubled?
Yeah.
It's a pretty crazy thought, right?
It is.
But that's what we're going to be diving into today.
Yep.
And it's based on the book, The Power of Zero.
Right.
And it kind of lays out this, like, wild possibility
Yeah.
based on historical data and current economic trends.
Yeah. And, it's interesting.
Yeah.
The author of the book, David Walker, he was the former Comptroller General of the United States.
Okay.
So basically the country's top accountant.
Wow.
So when he raises concerns, I think it's worth listening.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that definitely lends some credibility to
Really?
the argument. So
Yeah.
where does this whole, like, taxes might double idea come from?
Well, I think we got to start with something we all know about.
Okay.
The baby boomers.
Right.
Right? As they retire,
Yeah.
fewer workers are contributing to things like Social Security and Medicare.
Right.
And that puts a big strain on the system.
Makes sense.
When Social Security began, there were 42 workers
Whoa.
for every one retiree.
42 to 1.
42 to 1.
That's crazy.
That ratio has dropped dramatically
Wow.
to just 3 workers for every retiree.
Oh, my gosh.
And projections show it'll be 2 to 1 in a decade.
Wow.
So
Really a
there's
huge problem.
huge implications for the financial stability of these programs.
Yeah, it's almost like a ticking time bomb, isn't it?
I could say that.
Yeah.
Especially considering that Social Security has really evolved from a safety net
Right.
into the primary source of retirement income for many.
Yeah.
Back when it started, the average life expectancy was only 62,
Oh, wow.
and the retirement age was 65.
Really?
So people weren't expected to even collect for very long.
So different from today.
Totally different world.
Yeah.
And this shift, coupled with, people living longer,
Right.
has contributed to these skyrocketing costs.
Yeah.
Did you know that Social Security alone costs over $945 billion annually?
Really?
Almost a quarter of the federal budget.
Wow.
And then you add in Medicare's $590 billion. And we're looking at a potentially massive fiscal issue.
Those are some huge numbers.
Yeah.
But even with these, like, rising costs, could taxes actually return to the, like, incredibly high levels we've seen in the past?
That's a valid question.
Yeah.
And I think to understand that, we have to look at the historical context.
Okay.
In 1913, the first federal income tax was just 1%.
1%.
1%.
Wow.
Hard to imagine.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But by 1943, it had soared to a whopping 94%.
94%. That's unbelievable.
That's a dramatic swing.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
It's hard for me to imagine taxes ever getting that high again.
Yeah, I think it might seem far-fetched, but
Right.
The Power of Zero uses this historical example to highlight that these dramatic fluctuations are possible.
Yeah.
It even shares this fascinating anecdote about Ronald Reagan
Okay.
and how that 94% tax bracket impacted his acting career.
Oh, really? I'd love to hear about that.
Well, because of that high tax rate, Reagan limited himself to just a couple of movies a year.
Really?
Because anything beyond, $200,000 of income was taxed at that 94%.
Oh, wow.
So it simply wasn't financially worthwhile to work more.
Yeah.
So it actually limited his output during his peak acting years.
Wow, that's a great example of how those high tax rates had real-world consequences,
Yeah.
even for someone as successful as Ronald Reagan.
Absolutely.
It definitely makes you wonder if we could ever see those kinds of rates again.
And that's exactly the point the Power of Zero is driving at.
Okay.
If we don't address these mounting costs, we could be headed towards a similar situation.
Right.
In fact, the Congressional Budget Office,
Okay.
which provides budget and economic information to Congress,
Mm-hmm.
has projected a potential 3-bracket tax system with rates reaching as high as 88%.
88%.
Not quite 94%,
Wow. Okay.
but still a significant jump
Yeah, huge.
from the current 37%.
So, okay, 88%.
Yeah,
That's a huge potential increase.
it is.
It sounds like we're standing on the edge of a financial cliff here.
Right.
So, what can we do to prepare?
Well, that's where this whole Power of Zero concept comes in.
Okay.
It's not about doom and gloom.
Right.
It's about empowerment and taking control of your financial future.
Yeah, I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
So what exactly is this Power of Zero strategy?
To understand that, the book uses a fun analogy.
Okay.
Remember Wile E. Coyote,
Oh, yeah, of course.
the Roadrunner's nemesis?
Yeah, the guy with all the crazy Acme contraptions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So picture him in his little shed, completely oblivious to the fact that the Roadrunner has pushed the shed onto a train track
Oh.
and a giant train is barreling towards him.
Classic Wile E. Coyote.
Right.
Okay.
Now, any sensible person
Yeah.
would jump out of the way.
All right.
But Wile E. Coyote, he pulls down the window shade as if that will somehow make the problem disappear.
Right.
And we all know how that ends.
Yeah.
The train smashes right through the shed.
It's hilarious, but I see where you're going with this.
Right. So we have two choices here.
Okay.
We could either be like Wile E. Coyote,
Yeah.
ignoring the very real possibility of rising taxes,
Right.
hoping it just goes away.
Yeah.
Or we can take proactive steps
Right.
to get off the tracks.
Yeah.
And that's where the power of zero solution comes in. It's about taking control and preparing for whatever the future may hold.
So how does this Power Zero strategy work? Is it as simple as the name suggests, aiming for a 0% tax bracket in retirement?
That's the core idea.
Okay.
The book argues that by strategically managing your retirement income sources,
Okay.
you can potentially shield your savings from future tax increases.
So if your retirement income isn't taxed,
Exactly.
then even if rates double, you're still paying zero in taxes.
That's right.
Okay.
Simple concept,
Right.
but it can have potentially huge implications.
That's a powerful idea.
Yeah.
But how do we actually get to this magical 0% bracket?
Well, the book delves into specific strategies,
Okay.
focusing on leveraging different types of retirement accounts.
So you're saying we need to be strategic about where we put our retirement savings.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm all ears.
So it all comes down to understanding how different retirement accounts are taxed.
Okay.
Let's start with the familiar ones,
Okay.
traditional 401ks and IRAs.
Yeah.
You get a tax deduction for your contributions now,
Right.
but you pay taxes when you withdraw the money in retirement.
Okay.
That's called tax deferred.
So it's like delaying the tax bill, but it's still going to come eventually?
Precisely.
Yeah.
And if tax rates are higher in the future, you'll end up paying those higher rates on every dollar you withdraw.
All right. Not ideal.
Not ideal.
So what's the alternative?
Well,
What's the power of zero solution for retirement accounts?
that's where Roth accounts come into play.
Okay.
Roth 401ks and Roth IRAs.
Gotcha.
With Roth accounts, you pay taxes on your contributions up front
Okay.
at your current tax rate.
Okay.
It might feel a little less rewarding in the short term,
Right.
but here's the key difference.
Right.
When you withdraw the money in retirement, it's completely tax-free.
Wait, tax-free.
Tax-free.
You mean even if tax rates have climbed significantly since I made the contributions?
That's the beauty of Roth.
Wow.
You've already paid your taxes,
Okay.
so future tax increases don't impact your withdrawals.
So it's like locking in today's tax rates.
You got it.
Wow.
For your retirement income.
That's a pretty incredible benefit,
It is.
especially if those tax increases do happen.
Right.
So by shifting our savings to Roth accounts,
Yeah.
we're essentially building that 0% tax bracket for our future selves.
You got it.
Okay, cool.
It's all about being proactive
Yeah.
and taking advantage of the tax benefits that are available to us.
It sounds like the power of zero isn't just about like avoiding taxes. It's about being smart and strategic with our retirement planning.
Exactly.
Okay.
The book also highlights other tools that can play a role in this strategy,
Okay.
like permanent life insurance.
Life insurance.
Yeah.
I usually think of that as like protecting my family if something happens to me,
Sure.
not as a retirement strategy.
It might seem surprising, but
Fine.
certain types of permanent life insurance policies offer tax advantages that can be particularly valuable for retirement planning.
Okay.
These policies allow your money to grow tax-deferred,
Okay.
and you can even take tax-free withdrawals in retirement.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah,
It seems like there's a lot more to life insurance than I realized.
there certainly is.
Yeah.
And while we're on the topic of being strategic,
Oh,
I think it's important to emphasize that this isn't something you just figure out on your own.
right. Yeah, you need to get professional advice.
Absolutely.
Especially when it comes to retirement and taxes, it can get pretty complex.
A qualified financial advisor who understands these strategies
Right.
can help you create a personalized plan that aligns with your specific goals and circumstances.
Okay.
They can help you determine the right mix of accounts,
Right.
navigate the complexities of Roth conversions. Okay.
And even explore the potential benefits of permanent life insurance.
It's like having a financial co-pilot to guide you through all the turbulence.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
It's about taking control
Yeah.
and making informed decisions
Yeah.
to secure your financial future, even in the face of potential challenges.
This is all really fascinating. I'm already thinking about my own retirement planning a little bit differently.
Good.
But I think it's important to bring this back to our listener.
Sure.
What are the key takeaways here?
Yeah.
What can they do today to start preparing for this potential tax tsunami?
Well, first and foremost,
Yeah.
don't panic.
Okay.
Knowledge is power.
Right.
And simply understanding these concepts is a huge step.
Yeah.
The key is to be proactive and take action.
Uh,
Start by assessing your current retirement savings strategy.
okay.
Are you maximizing your contributions to retirement accounts?
Right.
Have you considered the benefits of Roth accounts?
Okay.
These are great starting points. And don't forget to seek out expert guidance.
Absolutely.
A financial advisor can be an invaluable resource.
They can help you navigate the complexities
Right.
and develop a personalized strategy that fits your individual needs and goals.
This has been an incredible deep dive.
It has.
And I feel like we've only just scratched the surface.
There's certainly a lot more to explore,
Yeah.
and the power of zero offers a great starting point.
Right.
But even beyond the specific strategies,
Yeah.
I think the most important message is one of empowerment.
You're right. It's easy to feel helpless when we hear about potential economic challenges.
Yeah,
But the power of zero reminds us that we have options.
exactly.
Yeah.
We have the power to take control of our financial futures
Right.
and make informed choices
Yes.
to secure our retirement dreams.
I love that.
Yeah.
So to our listener,
Yeah.
if you found yourself facing the reality of double taxes,
Yeah.
how would you feel?
Right.
Would you be prepared?
It's a question worth pondering.
Yeah, it is.
And with the insights from the power of zero, you can start taking action today.
Yeah, for sure.
This deep dive has really been about sparking that curiosity
Yeah.
and encouraging you to explore these concepts further
Yeah.
after all your financial future is worth it.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Good.
And who knows, maybe one day we'll all be lounging on a beach somewhere sipping on tax-free margaritas.
Now that's a retirement vision I can get behind.
Thanks for joining us on this journey.
Of course.
We'll be back next time with another fascinating deep dive. I feel like we've covered so much ground already, but I'm curious about something.
Yeah.
We've talked about the potential for taxes to rise and the power of zero as like a solution.
Right.
But what are some like specific things that people can do right now to start building that 0% tax bracket?
Yeah.
What does that like look like in practice?
Well, that's a great question.
Yeah.
And it's where the rubber really meets the road.
Yeah.
One of the most impactful steps that you can take today is to maximize your contributions to Roth accounts.
Okay.
If your employer offers a Roth 401k option,
Yeah.
seriously, consider taking advantage of it.
Okay.
Even if you're already contributing to a traditional 401k,
Right.
you might want to explore shifting some or all of those contributions over to the Roth option.
So it's not an all or nothing situation.
Exactly.
Okay.
You can have both traditional and Roth accounts.
Okay, gotcha.
It's about finding the right balance for your circumstances.
Right.
And don't forget about Roth IRAs.
Yeah.
You can contribute to a Roth IRA even if you have a 401k through work.
Okay.
It's a great way to supplement your retirement savings and take advantage of those tax-free withdrawals in the future.
This is where having a financial advisor can be really helpful, right?
Absolutely.
To help you figure out the best mix of accounts and contribution strategies.
Yeah, a financial advisor can analyze your income, your expenses,
Yeah.
your long-term goals to create a personalized plan.
Okay.
They can also guide you through more complex strategies like Roth conversions,
Okay.
which can be beneficial in certain situations.
So it's like having a financial coach in your corner cheering you on, making sure you're on the right track.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And speaking of being on the right track,
Yeah.
I think it's important to address the elephant in the room.
Okay.
What if someone's listening to this and they're thinking, I'm already in my 50s or 60s.
Yeah.
Is it too late for me to benefit from these strategies?
Right. That's a really good point.
Yeah,
Is there like hope for those who are closer to retirement?
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's never too late to take control of your finances.
Okay.
While starting early certainly has its advantages.
Right.
There are still steps you can take even if retirement is on the horizon.
Okay, good.
For example, you might want to consider catching up on contributions
Yeah.
if you haven't been maximizing them.
Okay.
The IRS allows catch-up contributions for people aged 50 and older,
Okay.
giving you the opportunity to boost your savings.
So even if you're feeling a bit behind, there's still time to make a difference.
Exactly.
Okay.
And don't underestimate the power of even small changes.
Yeah.
Consistent contributions,
Right.
even if they're not huge,
Yeah.
can add up significantly over time,
Right.
especially with the potential for tax-free growth in those Roth accounts.
It all boils down to like taking action, doesn't it?
It does.
It's not about like getting overwhelmed by the complexities,
Right.
but it's about taking those first steps towards a more secure future.
You've hit the nail on the head.
Okay.
Knowledge is power,
Right.
and understanding these concepts is the first step.
Yeah.
The power of zero, provides a framework
Yeah.
for thinking about retirement planning in a whole new way,
Okay.
one that empowers you to take control and make informed decisions.
This has been an eye-opening deep dive.
Yeah, it has.
I feel like we've given our listener a lot to chew on.
We have.
What's like the one thing you hope they take away from this conversation?
I hope they realize that they don't have to be passive bystanders when it comes to their financial future.
Yeah.
There are strategies and tools available,
Yeah.
like the power of zero,
Yeah.
that can help them navigate potential challenges and create the retirement they've always dreamed of.
It's about being proactive and taking ownership of your financial well-being.
Absolutely.
And if taxes do end up doubling, wouldn't it be amazing to be sitting pretty with a 0% tax bracket in retirement?
That would certainly be a victory worth celebrating.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us on this insightful journey.
You're welcome.
We hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into the power of zero.
Yeah.
And remember, the power to shape your financial future is in your hands.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep striving for that financial freedom.